Jethro and Joel were a troll.
Once upon a time, there was a gigantic two-headed turnip-eating troll named Jethro and Joel, who lived in a pine forest high up on a mountainside. Since the people in the valley far below never ventured up into the forest, no one but the birds, rabbits, and squirrels knew the huge monster was living there. Their life was simple as could be, with nothing to do but clear the weeds out of their turnip patch every day. And they could have lived there happily forever if Joel hadn't been so grumpy and miserable.
Fun, Joe grumbled. A horrible monster like us should be rampaging around the countryside, stirring up trouble. Joel even grumbled in his sleep after they settled down in their cave at night, while Jethro stayed wide awake and worried. He knew that Joel would keep grumbling until sooner or later he finally had his way.
"I'm fed up," wrote Joel one morning. "No more puttering in that turnip patch for me. Today I'm going on a rampage, no matter what." "If you must," said Jethro with a sigh. "Then go on your rampage. The troll is all yours for today. But remember, just for today, and that's all." "One day is plenty," charged Joel. Whoopity-doopity. Off down the mountainside went the giant troll with wild-eyed Joel in full control. He was eager to make most of his day. He kept the troll going full gallop all the way down to the valley.
Joel was hoping to meet a mob of riled-up farmers armed with pitchforks ready for battle. Then he could have some fun and show off his enormous brute strength of a troll. But one glimpse of a huge monster lumbering across the field sent the farmers and all their animals into a wild panic. In a frenzy, they went racing helter-skelter to find a safe hiding place, and in a twinkle and a trice, there was a living soul in sight.
And red-eyed, snorting, furry Joel went tearing around the countryside, uprooting scarecrows, squashing pumpkins, and kicking over haystacks. But after his rampaging all through the morning and into the afternoon, the only one who dared to put up a fight was the feisty little red rooster.
And red-eyed, snorting, fury Joel went tearing around the countryside, uprooting scarecrows, squashing pumpkins, and kicking over haystacks. But after his ramping all through the morning and into the afternoon, the only one who dared to put up a fight was a feisty little red rooster,
Who had been no more than an unhappy spectator, finally spoke up. "Why don't we call it a day? There's no one on the earth foolish enough to battle a monster as gigantic and frightening as we are. An army of king's knights might give us a battle," said Joel with a devilish grin. He had spied a tower and castle across the meadow, just a stone's throw away.
This ought to stir them up, he muttered, as he seized the huge boulder in their powerful paws. With a mighty heave, he sent it flying straight for the castle. There was a thundering, resounding boom, and the boulder smashing the castle wall, and towers tumbling into the moat. For a minute there was stony silence, and it seemed as if the castle was deserted. Then suddenly heads appeared from the window, and people were shouting, "Monster, monster, look out there. There's a horrible monster out there."
Then Joel's delight and Jethro's dismay. Out across the drawbridge came the king's men on their snorting war horses with their lances aimed straight for the troll's huge belly. "We're done for," cried Jethro. "We're done for, and it serves you right."
And they would have been done for if the troll hadn't been quick as a 20-ton cat. In a flash, the monster dropped flat to the ground, and all the knights and horses went flying topsy-turvy over the troll's huge backs, ended up in a heap.
Then, before the knights knew what happened, the troll scooped them all up in one big bunch. "Ho, ho!" chortled the joyful Joel. "Now look who's done for. Now who's going to make a big splash?" And he was about to toss them in the moat when Jethro rebelled. "Now!" he shouted. "We can't drown them. That would be mean. No! Enough is enough. You've had your day."
The The huge troll suddenly slumped to the ground, and all the knights and horses went sprawling every which way. Then Jethro shouted towards the castle, "Hello in there! Come on out, everybody. We quit. We give up. We surrender." "Are you sure?" called the king from a window of his wrecked castle. "Are you sure this is no trick?" "No tricks," replied Jethro. "No fooling." Then the king and his queen, followed by armed guards and members of the court, came trooping out over the drawbridge. As they approached the troll, the king said, "I hope you are both aware of the plenty of damage of the royal property."
"But we'll be happy to pay." "Good," said the king. "Then it's off with your heads." "Oh no," whimpered Joel. No, that's too much." "He's right," said Jethro. "That's a bit too much. But maybe we could even things up by repairing all the damages, and if someone will just show us how." "It's a deal," said the king, and he called for his royal architect and master castle builder. Fabian!
Pretty soon, Fabian, a bearded old fellow, came doddering over the drawbridge with a bundle of castle plans and spread them out for the troll to see. Then Fabian explained every detail of the castle building, how the timbers and crossbeams fitted together, and how the stonework was done. Since two heads were better than one, the troll learned quickly, and within an hour, Jethro and Joel were busily rebuilding the walls and tumble-down towers that they had demolished.
With no need for ladders or scaffolds, the giant troll worked amazingly fast. All they needed was a few men to mix the mortar to cement the stones together, and in just 3 days, the castle was completely restored. Then the crowd that had gathered to watch the giant construction worker gave the troll a tremendous ovation, praising them to the skies. "Terrific troll," they shouted. "Magnificent monster. Tremendous, fantastic, stupendous." Such an extravagant praise was too much for Jethro and Joel, and it all went to their heads. They were so proud of their newfound talents that they decided to make a career of it.
On, Jethro and Joel were master castle builders. They traveled about the countryside building castles for just about everyone. Since the troll had no use for gold or silver, they were paid with a big snack of turnips and the other price. Even for the poorest of families could afford a castle. So it finally could truly said throughout the land, every man's home is a castle.